Hey everybody, Asher here on what's a very rainy day for me, but a very exciting day just in general because today is pretty much the big kickoff for the 2019 Final Fantasy 1 Randomizer Spring Tournament. So what I'm going to be doing today is to play through a set of flags. This is going to be kind of a teaching stream to show you kind of the ins and outs, sort of how to run through, and this is going to be a full run through. There will be some stops, there will be some pauses while I talk about strategy, but unlike my Chaos Rush video before, these runs tend to take about an hour and 30 minutes at the minimum to 2 hours and 30 minutes at the maximum. So I'm going to try my best to keep my pausing to a minimum versus my walking and talking, because this is going to be a full run. And some of you may have seen a full run of these Swiss flags before. Some of you may not. I'm going to be going at this video from the standpoint that you're familiar with Final Fantasy 1 Randomizer enough to keep up with what I'm talking about, but maybe you're not so used to the flags. So before we start, I do want to go ahead and talk about the flags. The Spring Tournament is based off of a flag set that was actually originally a duckling seed. I'm going to close the little chat box here real quick. I'm going to put this up. All right, I'm going to move this window over because that's blocking my way. But this is the essential flag hash, and this is the seed that I'm going to be running today. It's all fairly standard. Magic levels are shuffled, shops are shuffled, but there's a few specific details I want you to keep in mind because they're going to influence how you run. The first is that it's town shuffle. Now, if you've watched Gyre's stream or other people run this, you may be familiar with what town shuffle is, but Corneria is Corneria, but all the other towns can be totally different, which means you cannot necessarily rely on level 2 magic to be there right away. In fact, I've played seeds where Provoca and Elfland were floater locked, so you gotta kind of watch out for that. The next thing to keep in mind is that the experience progressive scaling is not on. Instead, it's a static scaling. When you get 12 key items, your experience bonus is increased to 150%, or by 150%, which it's already at ×2 before. So this is not as high or extreme of experience as you've maybe seen in other flag sets in the past. So you're going to see some people take some very different party strategies, whether it's going a solo party member for a while, going 2-man for a while. My preference is 3-man. That's probably what I'll do today. But you can't just go through with all 4 light warriors just playing in context, because you'll get to Temple of Fiends and probably be at a low experience level for bosses that are scaled by 220%. The third thing that's very important for this is that there is free canal on. And I'll hopefully be able to show you what that means, but with free canal, that opens up the entire world to where you can pretty much be sailing anywhere from the start. If you get the ship early, that means the floater and canoe could be practically all over the world. Extended open progression means that you could be diving, possibly sea, because there's a dock by Onrak, or possibly Mirage Tower if you get an early chime. So it literally could be anywhere, and that's where there's the variance. Some flags you get an early floater, it can be done in an hour 20, hour 30, hour 40. Some things, sometimes you're going through the world and getting a lot of different stuff and having to check a lot of chests, especially because this may not show it as well here, but with these incentivized locations, Ice, Ordeals, Marsh, none of those are Fiend Dungeons, and Ribbon being one of the incentivized items as well. That means that because of the way the randomizer is written right now in 2.5.1, there is going to be 2 loose items. Very likely 2 loose items. Small possibility of 1, small possibility of 3. Almost always 2 items. So you're going to be popping open a lot of chests. Now, the one thing that is not on the flags here that's also very exciting, we're going to start the stream off by actually doing the other part that's kind of a big deal here, which is the party. You see, one party member is going to be forced here. I actually need to re-download this seed because I need to redo this hash. What we're going to do is I could do random.org, but there's this nice thing, Wheel Decide. I'll put a link in the YouTube video here for this. And we're just going to spin this twice. The first is going to be our forced class for the run, and our next is going to be the banned class for the run. And I'll show you how to adjust the party composition here. So we click once, here's our nice dramatic sound, and it is a forced fighter. How merciful. So party 1 is going to be fighter. There's no choice, it can be fighter. You see the flags up here changing. So if you copy this in, you'll get a forced fighter. This is the only thing that can be selected. So that is the captain of our ship, and captain actually is probably going to be standing up for the whole time. The next is going to be our band class. So we have a fighter forced. We can't have fighter forced and fighter banned, so we got to roll again. That doesn't make any sense. Oh, white mage banned. All right. Well, this just got a little bit more interesting. So you see how it's kind of like a graph here to a point. White mage cannot appear on the party selection screen. Party member 1 is always going to be a fighter. So I'm going to click the randomize button one more time. And I didn't want to spend as long on the intro this time as I did the last time. So let me just go ahead, bloop, bloop. So we have forced fighter, forced everything else. Yes, I do have that test there to make sure the chat widget works. Hopefully some people will pop in here, but if they don't, they don't. We'll just have a nice, friendly little playthrough as well. So we have the tracker up. It has all of our key items. You need to remember to click Canal because it's free. It has Split Punch Tracker has not been updated for that yet. So let's go ahead and see if we can get this started. So I think background today, what's going to be, I mean, green's okay. I did teal last time. Let's do purple. Purple's good. So seed is down there at the bottom. The hash, if you're playing this at home, is hammer, shield, knife, knife, nunchuck, shield, sword, hammer. And you can see right away, we cannot switch off of this. And this is not entirely different from maybe what class structure I was thinking of here. Because we don't have a white mage, one of the first things you've got to decide is, what is your strategy going to be? Because we have a forced fighter, black belt's probably a no-go. I do want to try to have 3 party members as a whole. And there's 2 possible ways I could go about doing that. One is to pack 2 fighters and then a red mage and a black mage and possibly kill one of the mages. That's perfectly fine, safe, and stable. If you want to gamble that your magic is going to be better in the early game, you could take 2 red mages, 2 black mages, or you could go try straight up and bring a thief as well. Thief will bring the utility of being able to run around everywhere. So those are all possibilities. But we're just gonna name it after some people that I know randomizer here. But you can see white mage is not a possibility or an option here. So I am still just kind of on the fence of what I want to do. And because I'm planning on doing a 3-party strat, I think the safest bet is going to be fighter, red mage, black mage. And I can always adjust that if the magic kind of dictates that. But it gives me more opportunities for potential white magic. The other possibility is 2 fighters, and 2 fighters is very strong, even supported by 1 mage. But typically, I'm of the camp that you want to try and bring at least 1 black mage so that you can assure yourself that you have access to temper, to fast, to anything else. But we're gonna go magic heavy today, so that'll be fine. All right. Everything is fine. We're actually just about ready to start. So double classes are okay. You just cannot bring the banned class. So we're going fighter, red mage, black mage. Should be fun. I have no idea how this is going to go because I haven't tested out this seed at all. So this is a blind walkthrough. But that's good because if there's any challenges in the run, then we'll get to go through them together. But you can see my splits here. I've done 8 of these runs so far. My average time is a little less than 2 hours. I've had some seeds that have gone significantly lower. I've had some seeds that have gone significantly faster. I'd say I'm a little behind pace compared to some of the top runners because I've been practicing more Chaos Rush, but this is why we practice. This is why we play. And if you have any thoughts on decisions that I make, by all means, tell me what you think. I definitely enjoy backseat gaming more than other people, especially in a non-competitive setting like this. So it is 12:45 my local time. We've got to get this rolling. So let's count it down. 3, 2, 1, go. So first thing we're going to do is to go into town, and because we selected a magic heavy comp, I need to check the white magic first because we need to see what spells are available. So Ruse is Knight and Red Wizard learnable. Fog, it's slot 2 and slot 4 are going to be locked out, but the white magic's not very significant right now. We need good black magic. We did not really get good black magic. This is an interesting topic to really try and break down, though, because what you really want is some kind of good sweeper early, and we missed it. So this is already going to penalize me quite a bit for my party comp. It would be possible for me to try and think about Okay, do I re-roll the seed right now, take a little bit of a time loss, and go fighter, fighter, black mage, red mage? But I'm going to stick with this. I'm going to see how the run goes. So we don't have a ton of gold, but we have enough. Let's go ahead and get Temper. And because I feel like I need some kind of damaging spell, we want Ice. We're going to get Temper for you. We're going to get Temper for you. And then I need to check the weapons store, because we really need some kind of early weapon, and we barely got one. Iron Hammer's going to go on the fighter. Do we have any good armor? If we don't, we're just going to get... Okay, we got Iron Shield. We got Chain. Good. Because our first goal is to survive the Garland fight, which if you've seen me play any Chaos Rush, you know that sometimes Garland is a pushover, and sometimes Garland is not. So we have lots of chains. It doesn't look like I'll be able to afford anything in the item shop for saving outside. Nope. But a rod is cheap, so we know where our shop item is. That's good. So this is going to be one of the scarier things to do in Final Fantasy Randomizer, which is we get to walk all the way uptown. And I'm going to show you something real quick that's pretty important here. Pause. In case you haven't played much Final Fantasy Randomizer, one thing to keep in mind for the Swiss flags is that you don't necessarily have to do Garland first. Extended open progression and free bridge are on. You can check Provoca to see what town it is. You can check Dwarves to see what they have. You can walk all the way down to Elfland if you want to. My standard plays Garland, so that's what we're doing. So, overworld music is totally going to screw up my ability to do this. Maybe I should have kept the normal enemy names on for a guide video, but those are wolves. So we have a pretty early encounter, but not super early. I could try and fight Garland first. They did fix the teleport so that it's a free teleport. That's very important money. Once upon a time when you would run these flags with Town Shuffle, you would not get teleported back by Princess Sarah after rescuing her, because that's the default rule for any of the dungeon shuffles as well. So that's a problem. And we got cash. Actually, we got quite a bit of cash, almost all the cash we need. Now we just have to hope that we can get through Garland. Alright, so we're going to fight. And then we don't have a sweeper spell, but it doesn't mean we're totally screwed. We're just going to temper this hammer swing. I didn't actually equip the hammer though, did I? So we're going to temper his punches, and we're going to see if that can bust through. So 73 damage for the punch. Making a guide video, already not equipping a weapon. Let's call it instructive. So the important thing about the chain arm, wow, 94 damage, it's kind of a beefy Garland. But the important thing about this strategy is that we have 2 spell charges to work with. We've now used them. We need our fighter to live, and that Garland had a lot of health. So everybody gets a level from that. You see I did that at level 1. And here's Sarah. So you see I have the tracker pulled up, and we already get a ship from the king. We could have walked and gotten the ship from the king earlier, but that means the world is our oyster now. We also got the crystal, which is nice, because that means we can check in with Matoya on the way to checking the Provoca slot, which means, you know what, it's probably a good idea to do just that. So we got cash. Is there anything else we really want to buy here? I think we probably want to buy a saber. I will be honest with you, I need to look and see what the attack strength is for a saber versus the other thing, because I have a sneaking suspicion that the iron hammer might be better. So we'll give our red mages something to swing that I actually remember to equip. We'll keep the iron hammer on the fighter. We'll hope we get some good chests. The more important thing though is that now we have some gold to play with, and we want to get some heals, because right now our healing is garbage. We want to get some pures. If gold allows, I'm a big fan of getting safety softs. 2's probably all you need. And it may seem like a lot for the gold that we have. I'm going to buy 10 cabins. You want to have save items. You want to have them really, really badly. Alright, so we know our encounter table so far. One fun fact is that the sea has a different encounter table. So I'm going to power cycle and see how we can get through. So if we manage the first encounter and are able to run from the shark, we may be good for a little while. I just want to see what Matoya has. Hopefully we can get to her without much problems. We don't have any sweeping magic, which already makes me a little reticent to go to, whatchamacallit, Marsh Cave, which is one of our incentive locations. And that's the important thing. I'm thinking ahead here. And I'll pull up the map in just a second once we get to Matoya. But right now, we have the ship. We are not actually locked to the inner continent. It's just that the seed is pointing me that way right now. Silverhammer Light Axe. There we go. So already we went from no AoE to good AoE. A Marsh Dive early might be good, and there is the crown. Alright, so we're already being pointed in a specific direction in the Inner Continent. The crown is turned into the Kindly King in the Northwest Castle. But before we go any further, let's go ahead and be select. Just because this should work and my mouse pointer should be showing here. We're right here. Provoke is over here. So I am going to be checking Provoca, but I'm going to try to save as little as possible. Like, I'll get in my boat, probably go here, and see if I can boat the rest of the way. There could be a key item here. It could be Crescent Lake or Provoca, or it could be nothing. It could be Lefane. Our next step is going to be to take the boat down to Elfland, because that's faster for where we're possibly going next. The Light Axe tells me that I should probably at least check what Elfland is, maybe do an early Marsh Dive, depending on if I can get some magic anywhere. Melman's right there, so that's a possibility as well. I know the timer's running, sorry. But there's Northwest Castle, so we definitely want to do that. Alright, so did I save? I saved. Alright, so back to the boat. I will restart my timer in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Alright. Yeah, it's one thing when I'm walking and talking here. It's like, oh yeah, I gotta actually manage this timer. We're gonna call it a rough estimate for a time here, but I still want you to just keep in mind what's over here. So this is Melmond. We can at least check the magic, but okay, Wall Heal 2. This informs us a little bit of what's not going to be available till later, but there's no reason to buy any of this right now. If anything, oh, we also have Zozo Melmond on. So right now I'm walking in areas where I could get encounters. There's a Silver Sword, which is honestly really good for my red mages, but I don't really want to deal with that. So here's Zozo Melmond. Let's just reset. So that means there's an encounter there, and we're just going to skip it. Now, the dwarves have 2 free chests. I could check, and potentially they could have a loose item. I've seen that decide races before. But I'd rather check dwarves when it's the right time to check dwarves, especially since I have Crown. But yeah, the only thing I had left to check in Melmond was the armor shop, and it's not that important to me right now. So here's Onrak. We don't really like seeing Onrak this early, except that we know houses are expensive. We can see what magic's available. Invis 2 is going to be Red Mage learnable in case we don't promote. Gaia first slot has our Black Mage learnable spell. So let's see if I can take a little bit of a gamble here and not save right in the end. Because right now I'm level 2. That is super low to be trying to do a Marsh Dive, especially without Warp or Exit. So I'd like to avoid that, but I definitely want to turn in the Crown and check those 2 free dwarf chests. We're going to turn in the Crown first because it could end up being that the Crown is exactly what we need. Alright. Crown turns into the canoe. So I'm very glad I did that. That opens up a lot of the world. You can see all these places light up in our tracker. It lights up Ordeals. It lights up the robot. We still have Marsh available. Ice is now available. Guru Volcano is now available. Sard is not available. I don't know what the game's thinking there because I don't have a ruby. But that opens up... The canoe is one of the most important items you can get. And even though I don't necessarily want to do a Marsh Dive early, I could do an Ordeals run early depending on if I can get any decent level 2 magic. Because right now we are really leaning on my fighter. And unfortunately Astos is known for hitting hard and for being very evasive. So he could kill Cheese right now if I get bad turn order. Okay, he didn't kill Cheese. Alright, this is scary, but it's possibly manageable. And if I do lose here, I am going to reset. Yep. Okay. So this time we reset. We know it's the canoe. Everyone's going to wipe in these flags at some point. So it's really not a big deal. Oftentimes for runs this long, you got to just try and be as efficient as you can. The number one thing you can do is finish. Because sometimes you finishing is going to be just enough to get you the win. This is a series of 1v1 races, so you might be playing somebody really good, but as the rounds go on, you're typically playing someone around your own skill level, or at least someone who might have won the last round or lost the last round. It's an interesting format, and I'm glad I'm not a tournament administrator because it's a lot to keep up with. So Astos is hitting pretty hard, pretty high evasion. I do need this canoe though, so now I'm thinking we are definitely going to check the dwarf cave, but my next step might very well be to go to Melmond and start checking some of those other locations. And I'm going to do what I should have done last time, which is start passing heal potions to the fighter. Because these guys waiting doesn't do me a lot of good. But drink command and everybody gives him a drink. I just need somebody to kill Astos. This is a pretty bad time lost now, but the canoe's that important. Wow, this is almost amazing. All right. If I don't get it here, I'm gonna reset out. Okay. Just like we planned it. Just like we planned it. So levels on the fighter is actually pretty good. The one sad part now is that we have a solo fighter trying to walk around the world. Fortunately, we do have Onrak, which does have a place to heal. I'm going to start doing some things here that maybe you're not used to seeing, but one thing I've learned from watching some other players is that they can get very aggressive in their resetting. And that's what I'm trying to do here. The encounter table is not super friendly early, and yes, we may have to cross this bridge multiple times. But running into that many encounters early may have not made it work very well. So there's some more money, which is good. Iron armor, which at least is an upgrade. It's not really super exciting. But we know there's not a key item there, so that's a plus. Now you see we are at 6 key items so far. Since it's a solo ogre, I'm going to take this fight. You got to be very careful about what fights you take, though. So save here. I don't have that many things left. Yeah. So now I've just got to try and run back. With magic literally just being temper, we do not want to really deal with this too much, so I wish I had more cabins. There we go. Let's try the power cycle. We'll have one encounter early. Reset out of that. And we get a bit of a walk. Alright, we can use that for the overworld pretty well. How much gold do I have? 6,000. Hopefully I run into some magic somewhere. I am bringing up all my party members right now. Chances are I might be killing the black mage or one of the red mages. That fighter is very likely going to have to live this whole run, so I need some cabins. And a few heals. So we're going to want to be power cycle walking through the world as best as possible. And yes, because Onrak is here, if you get the Oxyel early, you might be forced to dive Sea Shrine. I have had progression locked that way before, and have lost a lot of time not pursuing it. So we're skipping Marsh for now. We're going to Melmond. My preference is possibly Ordeals, but we can at least check the Onrak spot. I have no sweepers to take any of this stuff down, and the sea is incredibly dangerous because of Sahags. So that's awful. Like, Ice 2 on a group of enemies that appear all the time. This is why I bought more cabins, isn't it? But yeah, one of the joys of this is that you want to be sailing the 7 seas, right? Well, there's not 7 seas necessarily, but let's see what's here. Okay, Crescent Lake. So, not early magic again, but we do have a potential for a key item. I'm not going to buy anything there, although it's tempting. We do know where silver swords are. There's silver daggers. There's long swords. Ugh, townsfolk. They're the worst. Okay, slots 3, 4, these 3 slots are red wizard learnable. So we will want to come back here for life 2. Nuke is at level 6. That hurts. And it's only Black Mage learnable. So that's going to be a problem. We got to hope for an early fade here. Or the one fighter... Oh no, the confused old men are being super bad today. Okay, how this works is that they're able to just walk around. And right now I might be blocked really hard from leaving. Oh, key. Okay. Now that opens up some interesting possibilities for where we can go. Plus it's needed for the end game. So I could potentially check chest, like when I turn back in the herb. So that's a nice find. But our next step is to... We got two options here. We could go to Crescent Lake, or we could go to Onrak and check ordeals. I think I want to do the Crescent check first. It's really a coin flip at this point, but the reason being is that if I can... Oh god, this is terrible. And we barely got it, though. Okay. Gotta pay attention to the music a little bit here. But my goal, it turns out, is I want to be able to do the Waterfall, Onrak, Town Spot, and Ordeals checks all together if at all possible. Now, Onrak is definitely not Onrak. Okay, we gotta go south. I knew I went too far north. But the way the map works here, I'll show you right now, is that if we route on the lower part of the world here, I like going horizontally. So we don't have the ruby, we can't check Sarda because we can't get through Titan's Cave. Earth we don't want to check because we don't have the rod or anything. There's the volcano. We can get to volcano and ice, but our magic's terrible to go into either. This could be anything. We know it's not Crescent Lake. We really want to find Elfland or Provoca, which could be here or could be here, or they could be floater locked. We don't know yet. So let's hope for some good fortune. Hey, Cheeseinator. Yeah, Cheese, that's a really good point about the iron armor as... Oh, crap. I have no magic, by the way, in this. But yes, iron armor is a really good get. Unrunnable, these packs really suck, though. Oh, EXPs. I cannot take these guys on. I do not have the firepower to do it. We're just going to see if we can do this in one run, because if it's not a key item... Oh, good, it's Provoca. But yeah, iron armor is very good early, and we have it, so that's exciting. White magic today. Harm 3, it's something. Well, let's not get it yet, because we could have a good sweeper spell at level 2. We're going to see how punished I get for... Oh, we have fast and we have lit too. So, what this is telling me is that I am getting punished pretty hard for not going double fighter. And I said at the very start, it's a gamble. I'm going to get Quack on that guy. And I don't have anything to sell too much. I can sell my hammers. Let's see. But yeah, iron armor is good enough for the early game for sure. And we're going to keep one of you guys alive. So we're going to put harm 3 on you. I joke about lamp a lot. Don't do lamp, please. The important thing is that we'll be able to get a key item here. And we know our magic is going to be a problem. But I think Ordeals is still going to be the play. We're just going to have to try and skirt through as best we can. So wait. Look at this. Just one big charge of these things. Because the fighter was the only person that survived Aztos, so he got the levels when nobody else did. So we can put Bicky to bed. A few more precious spell charges, and there's the ruby. So that clues me in that at least on the way back to Onrak, I could do a ruby check, or I could go ahead and say, screw it, there's no way the floater's behind the Titan, and check Waterfall and everything else. Once again, there's some very interesting routing choices you have to make in these flag sets, and I'll be honest with you, this is one of those ones where it is run defining. If I make the right call here, I'm going to save some time. If I make the wrong call, I'm going to lose some time. Before I do that, though, I'm going to check the power cycle here, because I have an early encounter, and it's Ambush Troll Bulls. I'm going to give it a shot, but I don't feel great about this. I have 3 casts of Lit too. I have Quake. Maybe I should be using Quake. But my big thing is I feel like I need to get just a few levels on my casters. Okay, there's hope. There was hope, then Greg died. We really didn't want Greg to die. But I mean, experience is still experience, so... I'm not going to leave him dead yet, because I'm not too concerned about how much experience and how many levels I'm getting right now, because I'm not at 12 key items. And I've kind of gleaned from watching some other people play this that sometimes having that fourth character up early is worth it for the extra run chance. But I'm going to take a gamble. I did not buy more cabins, so this is going to be a fun gamble with Ice 2 Sahags. That ambush, apparently. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go the waterfall route. So we're going to go check the on-rack spot. We have our 2 town key items. We don't have exit, which feels pretty bad. But maybe we check ordeals first. Either way, we can do it either way. Let's check on-rack, waterfall, see if we can get through waterfall. And we are going to do map strats here. Yeah, Greg will be okay. He does the black belt thing, so he's kind of used to it. Alright. Gotta remember where I'm going from to remember where I'm going. So, this is scary. I'm gonna be proactive here. Said, these guys cast Ice 2 first skill, so they die easy. But... And it's like chump change experience, but it's experience just the same. Alright, so 9 cabins. If this is Lefane, I'm going to be a little sad, but only a little sad. We're running. Okay. Oh boy, unrunnables. Well, let's see if Lit 2 does it then. Sometimes with Wyverns, Lit 2's good enough. Especially because we have a light axe and decent levels. There we go, Lit 2's good enough. Alright, it's Gaia. Cool. So, like I said, there's still a possibility that this is the wrong move. In fact, it's entirely likely it's the wrong move. Hold is not worth it. Let's at least see if Fade is... Exit is not going to be in this game today, which sucks a little bit. I could check the white magic up here just to see what's out of the picture. Gold bracelets are stupidly expensive, so that's fun. Save items. I have not found tents yet, so that's great. But you see, I'm continuing to churn through cabins. Buying a bunch of save items is almost always a good idea. Alright, so harm and life. So we haven't found Fade yet. Unless Fade is in Lefane, and it might very well be, then Fade is in Elfland, and our red mages are far more useful. And because they have Fade and Temper, poor Spell Zap is on the chopping block. But we gotta find Elfland first, so he can live for now. Alright. We're gonna use our power cycle to run through the overworld. Unfortunately, running through the sea doesn't work the same way because the sea and the land have different encounter rates, but the ocean, or the rivers, they're a little different. By the way, this is a very scary move to go through this cave without, with such low levels, without warp or exit. And the mummies have a skill list, which is kind of terrifying. We do have harm 3 at least. Guess if I was going to harm 3, I should have light axed, but... Oh boy. Alright, whiz mummies are bad. And nightmares have cremate. I don't know if you saw that, so this could work out very poorly for me. And they ambush. Okay, Mudgulls hit hard. Life 2 is Red Wizard learnable, so we at least have that going for us. Typically, I don't like doing this dive before level 10. Alright, this is bad. Okay. If this doesn't work after one more try, I at least want to see what the key item is. Because if it's the floater, I can deal with coming back here. I need more paralisks, apparently. Alright. Like I said, the problem is going to be walking this out. Because I've been to all the towns. So we know what's floater locked. Light Axe, Harm 3, and Prey. That's not good. And we need that cast, so you're swinging. Alright. The joy of limited resources. Like I said, I might be doing this wrong, but I'm doing it anyway. I guess it's one of the things that I learned from Chaos Rush running, is that if you make a mistake, you commit to that mistake. You don't just back off from it. So that's good, that's good, that's good. That's not good. That's not good. But we know the robot has the slab. That's money, so that's alright. Alright, all we have to do is make it out. Easy peasy, right? Which means Dang needs to be in the back row. Alright, Scariest Trap Tile, Light Axe. Last charge of Harm 3. Really? Really, game? Okay, well, if I die here, then we know where the slab is. I'm probably gonna die here. But we got a shot. We don't have a shot. Okay. So it's the slab. Gamble not paying off so far. I mean, it's possible the slab turns into something, but... Oh, jeez. I hate this. Alright, so we know we can't go that far. So that's unrunnable. And the unrunnables are shuffled in this flag set, so we're just going to have to deal with that. Why did I... Okay. Apparently my brain is still in a little bit of go-ahead mode, because I knew to myself, it's like, don't take that last step, you know, an ankle is going to be there, and it's unrunnable, and that's what you said you didn't want to fight. So, cabin here, power cycle, run from the shark. We're going to get a Sahag fight in just a second, so we save here. Power cycle again. Sometimes you just got to manage that first encounter. There's not much else to it than that. Alright, so... Like I said, at least we got early canoe. We do want the floater, but the floater isn't necessarily required in this seed if the slab turns into the ribbon. But we don't know that yet. We do know the Elfland is locked behind the floater, though, so that's a problem. Let's go ahead and unclick slab, because we don't have it. So, top, okay, so it's bottom, bottom, top, so down, up. I really should be taking notes. And Man-Cats, one of my least favorite fights. We lived. I can make a t-shirt. And this is also one of my least favorite layouts for ordeals, because the room with 4 teleporters is coming late. There's a trap tell up here. I don't check it. So I think I chose wisely. Nope. Oh, God. Made it. Now I just got to not wipe because I have no idea what I did there. All right. Nightmares have a spell list, so that's bad. We've got to run from this. We do not have the skills to take them out. Good. Gold bracelet. I'm going to put that on Dang. I could... Okay, sorcerers could be bad. Let's run. Hopefully they're just melee sorcerers. I mean, there's an argument to be made that I put the gold bracelet on spell zap since everybody else has armor already, but my side of it is that spell zap's on the bottom row and is honestly not contributing much more than temper and possible lit 2 right now. So, haven't found any loose items yet. There's the opal gauntlet, which is probably just going to be sold. And it's the Oxyale. Oh, it's going to be one of these, isn't it? If it's loose floater, then we know that we're going to Elfland, because Elfland is where the sea shrine is. Let's take this fight. Probably should have just swung, but I mean, I don't have a choice. I have to take the fight. Because my levels are lagging a little bit, I'm actually gonna do this a few more times since the zombie D is pretty soft. Actually, I'm not gonna push my luck. This is the only other time I'm gonna do it, because if I can ambush him, then I can also get ambushed, and I have no idea if he has a skill list. So we got a few more levels. This means we can dive Marsh now, if it comes down to it. And since we're possibly doing the Oxyale route, diving Marsh might be a very good idea. Power cycle to get through the world. Probably shouldn't have reset there, but I'm trying to do edge strats and reset aggressively. So we know where the slab is. This is terrible, but this is why I saved some of these charges. That's annoying. But we know we won't run into him for a little while. I was wrong. Just run. Alright, that's embarrassing. But that's me trying to push a little bit more for time, whereas I should have just saved. Now, fortunately, we can go due north from here and make our way back to Elfland, which is on rack. And we can take this creep fight because we're still trying to get some levels, even though I don't have 12 key items yet. I think the play is going to be Marsh. We know Rod is shop, and the Rod's pretty cheap. I need some heals though. And unless Fade is in Lefane, Fade is going to be hopefully Red Wizard learnable, if not Red Mage learnable. If it's not, we're going to have a heart-to-heart about why I didn't take 2 fighters. So, let's see. I have 1 house, so that makes Marsh a good check. I hope that both loose items are not... let's try running. I think these guys only punch. Ironically, by doing Marsh and... I do have the key, so I could potentially... Why am I doing this? Light Axe. Come on, people. But the fun part a little bit of this is that I do have the key. I could totally check the dwarves and see what they have. I would just like to get the TNT or adamant first. Run from the pretty blue spider. The pretty stun touch spider. Somebody please run. Thank you. Alright, we're going top first, then bottom. Potential full clear in both directions, but the reason you go top first almost every time is that you're looking for loose items, and if you find a loose item, then you know where it is. Duh. We know there's no loose items in Waterfall, but we don't know if slab's required yet. I took an extra step, which is a little annoying. I might be able to cheat some experience out here with the light axe, or I can just run. Honestly, with my people's levels now, most of these fights here aren't worth taking. That money's probably worth running out. I'm going to be doing this a lot, where I light axe just in case I can't run away right away, because doing that damage... Ooh, we are definitely running this out. Defense sword casts ruse, so that's pretty important. Especially if we're going to be relying on our fighter to do things while he gets buffed up. Yeah, we're gonna use a house anyway. Let's try Quake. Look at that! Quake with the business. You think that casting a spell like Quake would cause some structural damage to a cave that's built in a marsh, but you'd be wrong. But as I said before, because of the levels my people are at, which is one reason I like to hold off on going to marsh early, that makes this dive a little bit safer. Now, if somebody were willing to go to marsh at level 2 or more, and the floater's in here, then congratulations. They're doing pretty good with life. Now, I have not turned in the ruby, so that's a potential key item. Might even do that before doing things like checking ice, if that's what it comes down to. Because I said before, there's a lot of decision making that goes on here. And if you know how to sail your ship, you're probably going to be okay. But the seas are not super friendly today. So, lots of gazing. I haven't seen a gaze land yet, so I'm not sure if it's the death gaze, the stun gaze, or the just any assortment of nasties here. But we'll probably find out at the bottom of the marsh cave when I'm trying to walk out the key item. So, alright. Our one house. This is not a power cycle. So, haven't run into any caster items either, other than defense sword, which is good, but it doesn't do a lot for clearing this stuff. Oh wait, I say that as I use the light axe, but we have a lot of gold now. We can buy the rod pretty much whenever. And sometimes in these flags you do end up doing earth early. I try to avoid that if at all possible. So scorpions hit hard. That's annoying. I think I'm liking these keeping 4 party members up so I have an extra chance to run though. That wasn't how I always play these. I'm skipping this chest because it's a linked chest with another place. Oh, annoying. But this is why we save our charges. And they're beefy. But there's a few linked chests on this floor and in other parts of the game, so we don't have to check that one on the top left. Oh, speak of the devil. Black shirt for you. And I believe it's linked with this one, so Iron Staff, not very exciting. Wizards are here, and because we do not have the changed, shuffled trap tile encounters, it will be wizards. I have lit lightning too, which is probably the best spell you can hope for in this encounter, given that my magic's totally sucked. We're gonna run, and we're gonna be aggressive with our lightning since I got the black shirt now. Okay. Please decide if it's going to be 100 damage or 30 damage. So they have at most 64 health. Loot. Well, we do need that. That means the early marsh dive didn't pay off, but now because I have the key, I need to check these chests. Pay attention to my routing here. I'm doing that weird snake walk because there's 2 trap tiles I'm dodging. Alright. And not everybody does this, and I know it's a little weird to do it on the Black Mage because he's probably my best running character, in my entire roster, but sometimes it's worthwhile just to have one person cast an AoE spell. These guys weren't that threatening, so I know I can just run from them. In theory, I can run from them. There we go. Gargoyles. I always wonder why people can't run from gargoyles in this. Oh, we can't use cabins. Was watching Demarin run the Game Boy Advance version of Final Fantasy, whatchamacallit, yeah, Final Fantasy 1 yesterday, and all I could say is, hey, wow, you can actually save in dungeons. That would have been really useful in this version. Alright, black shirt. Black shirt, not good enough to kill all the way. That's annoying. 2 rounds is okay. But yeah, Demarin, she finished the Game Boy Advance version in 3 hours, which is super impressive, just in general for vanilla. And I don't really know anything specific about the routing for the GBA version, but still, it was a fun run to watch the end of. Okay, so, well, I didn't want to buy one in the store, but if you're just going to hand me one, we'll do it that way. The encounter rate's the vanilla encounter rate in dungeons in this flag set, so this is going to happen. There's no treasure chest in there. There's one here, and I missed it. Heal. This is another wizard trap tile. This could be bad. Okay, it's not bad. And we know wizards are not super threatening, and we have some spell charges. Let's go for it. They have really stupid high MDef, though. And stun touch. And Greg's dead again. You know, Greg, I threw you in the back row. I tried. There's ice armor. That's really good. Alright, well... This is where I'd love to have warp. We have not found any loose items yet, but I still need to make this check, so... And I think it's probably about time we give the gold bracelet to Zap, just to mitigate against disaster. Alright. Now, if I had bought those silver armors for 3,000 gold in Provoca, maybe I'd be in a different place, but I didn't, because I didn't have the gold. Now, this marsh may seem like it's a big slog, and it is, but it's not super threatening at this point because I'm avoiding enemies with nasty skill lists, so that's at least a silver lining I can take away from this, as gargoyles are probably about to thunder me. Nope. Just money. And no chest here. So that's a full clear marsh, no key items. So that's a time loss. Like I said, if the floater ends up being the ruby, I've screwed myself. But what's the best route to take? Because I could take the Oxyale in and see what Mermaids has. The problem is getting out of Mermaids. I do have Lit 2, though. So that is feasible. The other alternative is to see what the ruby gives me. But that's a lot of sailing kind of away from where I'm at. But looking for a loose floater or something in Sea Shrine feels really terrible. Chat, you can chime in and tell me what you think you'd do in this situation. Because I'm really thinking of checking Mermaids right now. It's not an incentivized location. It's not ice. I have Sarda, which is available, but it is a little bit of dangerous sailing away. I can buy the rod, so I can actually get up to 12 key items. So I don't want to do that before. Yeah, let's go ahead and get our key items. Let's just do it like that. That way I can pop some chests open in Carnaria. And let's see. So we'll do the starter check. It's not the sexy gamble of going into the Sea Shrine right away. But some players like to hang their hat on being big risk takers and gamblers. I'm not really one of them, I guess. I don't want to say I'm risk averse, but my gambles don't usually pay off. Ugh, gross. All this time we're losing. I haven't eaten. Oh my god. Alright. Said you gotta be ready for these encounter rates. So after 3 encounters, we get a pretty good sale. Should be sharks after this. We're gonna go to the inner sea. We're gonna go ahead and check the castle. I am gonna check dwarves just for a loose item. That is a really good sail trip after the 3rd encounter. That's worth remembering. Alright. Yeah, if you like sailing, you'll like these flags. If you don't like sailing, then play these flags anyway, because you'll learn to like it. Let's see. So, keys here. And there could always be loose items in any of these locked chests, including the Temple of Fiends, which I'm not going to check. One flag that I wish was in the game, but is only in the beta client, is Improved Trap Treasure. So what that'll do... Oh, Pro Ring. Very nice. Improved Trap Treasure will make it so that a trapped chest tile, not all of them, but a lot of them, ends up giving you improved treasure. So, like, it's going to be default something that's really good. Not necessarily incentivized, though. So we know this is here. I could buy a lot of rods, but I'm only going to buy the one. Need some heals. Need some cures. Need some more heals. And finally I can afford like a 20 stack of cabins. So there's one key item. Shop rod. That means I could check Earth. I am really not wanting to check full clear Earth with just Lit 2 as my main damage spell. But I could do it. It's a pretty easy walk. This run should carry me the rest of the way to dwarves. Yeah, we're good. Alright, so I am strictly looking for loose items right now. This is a kind of sad double dip for not having the TNT, but... Okay, we're keeping dragon armor. Keeping a ribbon. I do not know if that ribbon's a loose item now, but we're going to flag it for now as one. Alright. And this is fun because my stomach's feeling a little queasy right now. I was sick most of the day yesterday, which is very exciting. And apparently I'm not feeling as good as I thought I was. But you can see the timer just happily ticking away, waiting for me to kill a fiend. And the really honest, stupid truth is that I have fast, I have light axe, I have temper. I can probably kill Carrie right now, but I don't know if I have the strength to get to her. So we're gonna do few more look-sees here. We're going to cash in the ruby, and we're going to go towards Volcano. So if floater is ruby lock, that means I've lost about 10 minutes compared to somebody who checked that first. Okay, we got ambushed. There's no point. But we know the 4th encounter's a really long run, so... I'll deal with that. Or should I say a really long sail? There we go. These guys don't give enough experience to matter. These guys don't give enough experience to matter. Like, my levels are good for where I'm at in the game right now. And after this, I'm going to need to kill off one of my mages. The problem is I'm going with one hand behind my back. Nuke's at level 6. It is only black mage learnable. So if I kill off one of my black mages, I do end up denying myself access to Nuke. But if Fade is red mage or red wizard learnable and levels 3 or 4, then I'm going to be set. So I don't know who I need to be killing yet. So eat up Sweet Titan. We'll check those on the way back. There's a reason I have 40 cabins. I've gone through about 30 so far this run. Could probably zap these tigers, but I'm not going to. Yeah, we're almost an hour in. We haven't even touched any of the Fiend dungeons. So that's not what I wanted. But the good news is that I did not lose the race outright by not electing to go to Sarda. So while it's not what I wanted, maybe it's what I needed. We have 12 key items now. We officially have unlocked the greater experience progression. So if we light all these guys up, for instance, I normally wouldn't take this fight. We should get quite a bit more experience. It may not look like a lot because it's being split between 4 people, but 540 is pretty good. We got a level on Greg. Alright. Let's see what's in the treasure room here. Let's see what's in the treasure room here, part 2. Nothing. And I'm just power cycling because I know when I get outside, I'm going to have a good walk. I'm going to have one more fight on the way out of here, though. Unless I'm wrong. I'm wrong! Cool. Okay. Let's go ahead. Really? I have 12 key items. I have magic that's not really very nice. I could do Volcano first, or I could do Ice Cave first. My preference is almost always going to be Ice Cave. You're nowhere near level 6 spell charges. So I could potentially buy Nuke for my Black Mage now, but it's a lot of money. And we still are going to need the tail. Alright. As I said, that ambush sucks. And I hadn't been getting ambushed by them before, but now I can sail almost the rest of the way. Alright. Yay! So no floater, no airship. We know where Slab is. It's in the waterfall. I'm probably still not strong enough to get through the waterfall. Which is why I'm saying... You know, this might not have been the right way to go, but I'm going to park my ship here. Because I'll remember it more easily. This is garbage. So, encounter. And then we run. I said, and then we run. There we go. So I could have turned in the Slab at Melmond here. This isn't Melmond, though. This is Provoca. Alright, so... And this kind of coin flip is we're getting ambushed all over the place. I'm going to do Ice first. I want to check and see what the eye is. And we're going to kill off... I'm just going to commit. I'm gonna commit to killing... Oh wait, do I have any houses? This could be a really big problem if I don't have houses. Frost Caribs. This just got way worse. Okay. Okay. So ice is the last incentive location we can get to. We're going to try and do this no encounters, which means resetting a lot. I hope you like resetting, because I do it nice and fast. Alright, so bad Caribs are right here. And they're unrunnable. So I gotta remember my music cue. Sloppy, sloppy play. That's why we practice. Alright. Ambush happy hydras are also not nice. I don't like getting ambushes right off the power cycle. I don't like getting unrunnables right off the power cycle. This run doesn't have a lot of either, but it's still annoying. So, Ice Cave. I'm level 9 and 10. This is good enough. A lot of people are intimidated by Ice Cave with good reason. But we've seen some of the enemies that are in here so far. We've seen some of them that are in ordeals. Mummies, sorcerers. We know the mummies have a skill list, and it gets pretty ugly later on. But I'm living. Light Axe, run. Light Axe might not be enough to take these guys out. Oh boy. Alright. I still don't care if I can run from this. Okay. Because at least we got out. It's a spell charge, but we're still in the game. Now, because I don't have warp and because I don't have exit, there's no tricks today. And hopefully we don't have one of the loose items being in the Mage block chest, because I'm not checking it. When you're running these kind of flags and you have 2 loose items, you got to keep track of what chests you check, what chests you don't check. And it's good to come up with a system and stick to it instead of deviating too much unless you plan to deviate, because you know what your opponent's doing. So we know this group's bad, but we got to ambush. Like for instance, my Ice Cave routing, I skipped the white D chests. Especially with a group as tenuous as this. Oh boy. This just got way worse. Sleep through a ribbon. Sleep through a ribbon again. Wow, okay.